Hare Krishna. The topic is the most essential principles from Vedic scriptures. So Vedic scriptures is very vast. It's very, very difficult to read. It takes many lifetimes even to touch the surface. Right? That means there's so many principles which we can learn from that. So, under the purview of the time, for next 45 minutes, we don't have that much time. But we will touch base some of the principles, and then we try to understand what does it mean to us. And then whoever learned and practiced that, and what we can learn from them. Then at the end, there will be take-home points. Like, if you remember, everything is great. If not, some principles, take-home points to meditate. So, which inspires me. I hope it inspires you too. So, as I said, the Vedic, come from Vid, right? The knowledge. Knowledge means it is actually given to us by God through disciplic succession. By definition, knowledge cannot be created. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be manipulated. By definition, I cannot create my own. It has to be there. So that's called this knowledge is eternal. Talk about making cell phone. The different versions are coming. Cars, different versions are coming. And then whatever somebody created, science is done 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, somebody else comes up. They're different. But Vedic principle is not bound with any time, place, or circumstances. It is universal principles for all the time in the past, now to become, in the future. So it used to be, it's a word of mouth. We have 4 yugas. Right now we are in the Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga or called Kruta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Right now we are in the age of Kali. The Guru teaches to his disciples, they remember it. When they become Guru, they teach us to others. One time they hear, they got it. As the Kali Yuga progress, if you cannot, I can ask you, hey, last Sunday, what breakfast you had it? You have to think about it. Right? Forget about 10 years. So memory is very short. Remembrance is very short. So that's the reason these Vedas, which is timeless, it's come into existence from Veda Vyas. It's called pen down. Like he put them in the paper for the people to come in the starting of the Kali Yuga. That is the Vedas. Vedic knowledge means it's not bound with one text. So anything knowledge about God, about universe, about us, our relationship with God. So it's all mentioned many ways, many types. But it's all revolving principle is only one. I think discharging. The revolving principles of the Vedas is only one. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedesa sarvai aham veda, vedavid chaham. Purpose of Veda, I am the compiler, I am the knower. Purpose of the Vedas is to know me. Very simple. Purpose of the Vedas is to know who compiled Vedas. Right? So now, let's say we are on the material world. Based on my understanding, there's 5 things is common. Whether it's a spiritual or material. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's say, the first one for us, we come into existence, that means we're living. First is live, right? The second, while we're living, we have to learn. That start, the moment we come to this existence, we always start learning. By looking, by touching, by experience, by crying. So many ways, like in a baby's start. Anything you give, they put in the mouth. That is the learning. They wanted to learn. They want to see the people. When they come to foreign land, they don't know what to do. So second thing, every living entity, which is not human beings, everything, first they come into existence to live and they learn as a part of the life. And the third is, when they do that, they lead. Lead means somebody help me. Because they come into existence before me, they already experienced that. If I have an older brother, so they can tell us, my mother, father, teacher, professors, whoever it may be, like friends who knows their experience. It doesn't mean that my counselor always says, you always talk to me whatever you want. I can let you know. Because I've done more mistakes than you. You don't have to learn from doing the mistakes. Because I've done it. So certain things we have to do it. We had experience. But however, somebody already prepared for in that perspective. Prabhupada, even though he did not do any mistakes, he prepared for us. We don't have to go and start from scratch, right? That's why the lead. That is the nature. Actually, we are always leading somebody. We are led by somebody. That's how all this happens. And the fourth principle, while we are doing all these things, so we develop love. Supposed to, right? So love has many the meanings and many gradations, many ways to express. We'll talk about that later. So fourth is love, and the fifth is leave. Now time has come. Pack up the bags. We don't know when the time will come. We all leave. We have to leave, right? So that is the five principles: live, learn, lead. What is the fourth one? Love. Yeah, thank you for paying attention. What is the last one? Lead. And also, the lead has the second aspect of leave a legacy. We have an option to leave a legacy, either good or bad. My God, this person is gone, horrible. Thank you very much. Oh my God, this person left. So wonderful person. Choice us. Whatever the capacity, somebody leave a legacy in a big way. But option is given to us. So as a living entity, these five principles is a common. Now we know that. Let's say we can analyze that in the material world or spiritual world. Now let's say to live, we didn't do anything. In other words, we didn't put an application to our mother and father. Hey, I want to choose my mother and father. Which country, which family? We have no idea. Based on the past karma, sukruti, actions and reactions we have done, we earn that. The kind of a place where we're taking birth. The second option, the learning, we have an option. Learning, we have an option. What to learn, how much to learn, when to learn, and what to learn, not to learn. Do's and don'ts, niyama, agraha. They're all in our hand to a certain extent, right? So, for that, either we goes to guru or gurukul or temples or synagogues or churches or mosques or universities, right? Most of them. What happens is that, Hare Krishna. What happens is that when we're learning, Vedic scripture says the three principles is very essential again for learning. The first is knowledge, right? The second thing is skills. By having the knowledge, we develop the skills. Otherwise, we read. If you don't put in action, skills will not develop. The knowledge and skills goes together. That's where the material world ends. They teach us how to acquire the knowledge and how to develop the skills. But what is the objective of that? Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. I, me, mine. Whatever makes me better, what I can earn money more, how can I be happy, me, my family, my culture, my team, whatever. Like everything revolves under me. The third thing, which is the most important, which is not happening with other things, like as when we go to churches, mosques, synagogue, whatever religion you follow, they're supposed to be, the third is called values. University doesn't teach us values. We have to develop. At home it has to happen. Or when you go to whatever the meditation center where you go, or whatever religion you associate, they're supposed to teach us. So these five principles revolving under these three as a base. Knowledge, there is no doubt about it, there's nothing wrong with that. Wonderful your material knowledge, as Prabhupada said, but how do you use it? And where do you use it? And what is the objective of that? By doing that, we develop skills. Enormous amount of skills people develop. But they are not directed towards the objective of the knowledge. Vedantavid eva chaham. Sarvasya chaham hudasannavisto matta smriti gnanam apohanam. Krishna says, everything comes from me. The knowledge I am giving you, remembrance I am giving you, even forgetfulness. To ask God, I want to forget you, we have to have a knowledge. That is coupled with the forgetfulness. So it's amazing, this concept. If that's a different topic, we can talk about it. But that's how it works. But now when knowledge is there and the skills are there, but it's not coupled with the values, what is the basis? If there is no value, very, very difficult. So now we'll get into these principles, we'll talk about it in a second. But how do you learn it? That's in Itihas. As I said, Vedic knowledge is so huge, it is being captured in Itihas, that which happened in the past, history. Mahabharata, Ramayana, Upanishad, where, there's so many. So now, these 5 principles, very crystal clearly. So now, how to live? It is being taught in Mahabharata. Mahabharata started with one principle, duty. Like everything, what to do, what not to do, how to do, how not to do. Based on dharma, what is my dharma? If you are a grihastha or married person, what is it? If you are a mother, what is the duty? If you are a guru, what is the duty? If you are a kshatriya, what is the duty? Everything revolving under Mahabharata. It teaches how to live. In that, the core is Bhagavad Gita. How to learn. What to learn. Which is Bhagavad Gita, it teaches us. The now next is how to lead. How to lead is Ramayana personification. It started Valmiki asking his guru, Narada Muni, tell me somebody who I can follow. Tell me that personality who has exhibited. So that's where he spoke Ramayana to him. Then he understood, he written it down, Valmiki. So how to lead, we can learn from Ramayana. The next is how to leave. Yeah, I'll come there. I'll keep it. How to leave or leave a legacy. Srimad Bhagavatam. The person who's dying, he is asking, I don't know, tell me how to leave. So Srimad Bhagavatam is all about understanding who have done that. Prachaitas, Pandavas, Gopis are from Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. They taught us how to live. There's an aspect of detachment coupled with attachment. Right? So that is being taught in Srimad Bhagavatam. The next and the final is how to love while we are here. When we do this, rest of the four doesn't touch us. How to love, which is taught in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita is the basics of spiritual life. Srimad Bhagavad Gita graduate studies and the post-graduation and PhD, Chaitanya Charitamrita. The relationship with the devotee is so wonderful, revolving around Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These 5 principles, right? All these 5 is come as a basis knowledge, skills, and what is the third one? Values. So, you understand, you are with me so far? Okay? So now, let's take an example from Mahabharata. How we can understand this. In my opinion, philosophy doesn't go to that deep in the heart, which is good. There are some people who are very philosophically oriented, which is right. In general, common people in Kali Yuga, but they can learn philosophy in a tablet form. The medicine is inside the tablet. The shell which carries, right? That's called stories. So if we can learn the story, usually we remember. And that is attract old people, middle-aged people and the kids. It doesn't matter, right? So that is the take-home point if you understand from the story. You all know Mahabharata, Ekalavya. Ekalavya is actually amazing personality. And then he was actually there during the Pandavas trying to learn the skills from their guru, Dronacharya. Right? So, Dronacharya started school specifically for Kshatriya. Kshatriya means not by birth. One who had Kshatra, that means one who can dedicate to protect the Dharma by giving up the life. Based on Dharma, not Kshatriya, not by birth. Kshatriya is a quality. Right? So, he was very skillfully accepting only those students which he thinks can fit into the criteria. Even he rejected Karna also. One time Kanna came to him and said, I want to learn. He said, why? Because I want to become number one in the world. So you are rejected. That is not the purpose of Kshatriya. That's a different story. But anyway, so when they were walking, and then a dog came, is mourning, it's not barking, because in the mouth is many arrows are shooted in the mouth, in such a way the mouth is open, the tongue is out, it could not bark. There's a pain, at the same time it could not close it, it cannot open it. So very skillfully somebody shot arrows in the mouth of dog. When somebody saw that, especially Pandavas and Kauravas both are saw, and they brought the dog to his teacher, which is Dronacharya. Dronacharya is, oh my God. It is in one sense it's horrible, but however, whoever that is, they are not ordinary person. Very skillful. Then eventually they found him, Ekalavya. He's in Nishada, which is actually out, they live in the forest, and they brought him. And then, who are you? Who are you? Who is the Guru? My Guru is Dronacharya. Dronacharya? How is it possible? So then Dronacharya asked him, who are you? He said, I'm Ekalavya, Nishada prince. So he recognized him. In the past, he approached him to learn. He asked, what do you want to learn? He said the same thing. I want to be number one archer in the world. He said, Ekalavya clearly says that. And Dronacharya said, no, that is not the purpose of this Dhanurvidya. Dhanurvidya is to protect Dharma. The Kshatriya who protects Dharma only I am teaching. That is my principle. So he said, but however, he was watching from the tree, behind the tree. He was learning. Watching, but he's so intelligent, so powerful, and he was just watching and practicing in the night time. So he learned that everything. Long story short, so he got the knowledge, he got the skills, but the values is the problem. Because Vidya is not supposed to, what is that? Not supposed to steal. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadvidhi pariprashnena pariprashnena sevya upadekshanti jnanam jnaninam tattvadasyanaha. You have to learn the knowledge from the Guru and approach him in a submissive way, in humility. I don't know, I want to learn. I'm not qualified. That is a quality. But he's told that. Eventually, then Dronacharya asked Guru Dakshina, and then he took the finger out. So a lot of people doesn't understand why he only took what is being stolen. All his Dhanurvidya is in his finger. He did not take the life, but he took the finger out. I cut the finger for me. So great. Without any hesitation, he cut it off. Ekalavya. Okay. And he gave it to his Guru. But eventually, all Vidya is gone. Whatever the skills he learned. But eventually, how do we understand that there is no value? Because he also wants to show the world is better than Arjuna. That's exactly Karna's aspiration also. Arjuna is a devotee. There's nothing wrong in it, but that enmity should not be there. Because of that, the people have the like mind, they attract each other. So he got attracted to Jarasandha and Shishupal, who is in the adharmic side, which is against Krishna. And eventually Ekalavya was killed by Krishna later on. He has a knowledge, he has the skills, but there is no values. If values are there, the knowledge and skills automatically will come. But unfortunately, in the current world, the universities, whatever different religions are, they're teaching these two, the values are missing. No matter what, never ever give up integrity, humility, tolerance, patience, forgiveness. These are the things which can be practiced. That's the one thing, right? So you learn one essence from this, you remember the story. So next is, I want to talk about, that's the reason, the moral values is actually, it's pretty straightforward. It's between, you have to choose between good and bad. Those who are a little bit moral, those who are based on the knowledge and skills, they usually choose good. There is no values, they choose the bad side of it. But ethical values is very difficult. Because why? You have to choose between two goods or two bads. Both are good. Which one is better? Both are bad. Which one reduces the impact? So that's where we need Guru. Otherwise, how do I know? I can think many things. How do I know out of both two goods which one to take? That is ethical. These ethical principles learn from Shastra. Similarly, let's take one more example. Same, Kauravas and Pandavas is learning under Dronacharya. One day he called Duryodhan and Yudhishthira. So, because they're going to become a princess eventually, he's training them slowly. You want to understand who can lead, who has the capacity to lead. That citizen is always says, a better disciple always one day become better guru. A better follower one day can lead. A better citizen can become better king one day. Artificially trying to take that position, it doesn't work. In Vedic principle, that's what they teach us systematically, right? So now he got these two people and he told Duryodhana, go find out one better person than you, who has some better quality than you. He called Yudhishthira or Dharmaraj. He said, go find out in the city one worst person than you. That means there's one less quality you had, they shouldn't have it. So they both went, they're searching everywhere. Duryodhana, wherever they go, whomever he sees all the good qualities, but he also sees one bad quality in him, which he didn't have it, which he thinks. He didn't find anybody. He come to his guru and he says, reporter, I didn't find anybody. Either I am better, either I didn't find any better than me. So he asked Yudhishthira, same thing. He went all over, he didn't find anybody who is worse than me. Who is worse than him? He found in everybody some good quality. Knowledge is there. He taught the same knowledge, same guru, same disciples. The skills are there, but the values, sometimes it can be taught, but sometimes it has to develop. That comes Sukruti. That comes our endeavor. Right? We have to develop that. So you understand? That's the second principle. And the third is, of course, that leads to same Arjun and Duryodhan went to Krishna to find out help. Can you help us? Because the war is inevitable now, they're going to fight. So they both went. And of course, long story short, Arjuna chose Krishna. Duryodhan doesn't want, but he didn't have an option anyway. But he wanted an army, he got it anyway. The other principles which we can learn from here, in general we all do that, most of the people. This is another essence which you can learn from Vedic literatures. We chose God's energy than the God. God's energy is the things which is around. Or in other words, you can say resources. We chose, in general people, God's resources over the God. It should be opulent, immediate sense gratification. So that's other principles. Arjuna doesn't matter. He said, I don't want whole army. What is the use? I just want you. So we should also develop that attitude, choose Krishna or God than his resources or opulences. But if you choose Krishna, what happens? Others automatically will come. But if you choose resources, we will not get Krishna. It's another principle to think about. Right? You're all with me so far? So the three principles we learned so far. Can you tell us what we learned the first one? Let's see. What is the example?
Knowledge, skills.
No, that's a principle. That's a philosophy, the 5 aspects and 3 aspects. But what did we learn from story?
How to live.
Yes, which is Ekalavya, and then so we cannot steal. We have to develop the humility that I want to learn. Then it creates impact in the consciousness, the values will be developed. What is the second story? Through that humility, the test will come. He taught that story, same knowledge, same skills, but the values has to develop. He needs to develop the value. When he went out to find out who is better than him or worse than him, he did not learn anybody. So he learned that. He learned the humility and he put that into practice. That's the second principle. Right? And the third, what is the other story which I said? Arjuna and Duryodhan, what did they learn? Choosing
Krishna.
Yes. So just remember, these are the principles. If you don't remember, remember the story. That is my take home points. If you do principles, There, I know some people who can get the principles right away, which is called Upanishads. But Upanishad is one word, that's it. There is nothing else. One word. Jannati Yata. Aham Brahmasmi. It's very difficult. But some people can get it. But when we cannot get it, we backtrack and then link that with something which we can remember. That's called Itihas. History. Some story which coupled with that, which will make us to remember. That is, so far we talked 3, right? Next, let's move on. Now let's jump into the Ramayana for a few minutes. Ramayana, this same principles has been taught by Hanumanji. So, you know the story of Ramayana. So, they're all searching for Sita. 4 groups. One in north, one went towards north, south, east, west. So, one went to south, headed by Jambavan, and then many other, and Hanuman was there. They reached the end of the what do you call that country, which is India, and they didn't know what to do. There was vast ocean. That's where they were told that Sampati, who is the brother of Jatayu, Sita is other side of, 800 miles that time. So all the Nala, Nila, or all the monkey warriors said, I can jump 100 miles. Somebody says 200, somebody 300. And finally another said, I can jump 800 miles, but I cannot come back. When this is going on, somebody is sitting there and watching. Humble. He didn't know his capacity, even though he knows, he just kept quiet. Hanuman. And Jambavan looked at him. Oh, Hanuman, you are more powerful than most of us. He said, when he was young, which is Jambavan, he used to travel around the world, universe, in a few minutes. That much mighty warrior he was. But now he's old, I can't do that. But you can do that. He said, is it? Yes, you can. He gave him the knowledge. Remember, when you were young, he was got cursed. So then as soon as he remembered all his skills, all his knowledge, but they were covered with values. He was very humble, he was always staying himself in the back. Right? So he never boasted himself. When the time has come, he was not shy. That's another thing. When the time has come, he was not shy to fight. Then he increased his volume, he just jumped, you know the story. But now what we learn from here is 2 things. One is Hanuman's character, how he was bound by the values. And the Jambavan, we all know the hero of Ramayana is Hanuman. But who made the hero? Who made him hero? We never talk about him. Jambavan. Jambavan nowadays in corporate world is motivating the people, motivating the But the one who motivates others, people talk about it in corporate world, material world. But in spiritual path, Jambavan, no one knows, no one glorifies him. But who made the person whole world is talking about? He never said, I can't do it, we can't do it, let's not do it. No, we can't do it, but he can do it, please go. Do it. There's other principles we can learn. All with me so far? Okay, so next, I just want to say a couple more. So coming back again, maybe this is the last one. Arjuna and Duryodhana. Whole Mahabharata, what happened because of Duryodhana, when he fell in the water, Draupadi laughed at him. Right? You know the story. I'm not getting the details, but I'm just telling the principle here. So what did he do? He fell back, and then eventually he wanted to take revenge, and then dice game happened, the whole war happened. But now he thinks that made him to do that. Just imagine for a second what happened to Arjuna. Arjuna, during the exile time, he went to Swargaloka to visit his father. There he saw all the beautiful ladies and men, powerful people. Out of that, the most that enchanting lady he saw was Urvashi. He was looking at her. Then his father, which is Indra, looked at him. Why he's looking at the lady? And then Urvashi also noticed that Arjuna was looking at him. In nature, what happens, male and female, somebody looked at as an interest. So what happened in that day, evening and night, so Indra told Urvashi, go and see Arjuna, he's interested in you. So she went there, and she also had that, since Arjuna is so beautiful, handsome, very powerful, built. He's also very beautiful, eyes, nose is pretty much close to Krishna. So she was attracted to him. So naturally she went and approached him. As soon as he saw her, oh, at this time of the hour you coming to her home, please come home, but please come. So I just came to enjoy. He says, no, what do you mean? I'm looking at you. Yes, I was looking at you. But one of my forefathers, which is a Pururao, is actually, he's her husband at that time. So we come from him. So he's my grandfather, you're my grandmother, but you're still like that. Many ages pass by, many centuries pass by, you're still like that because you're in the heavenly realm. So in that perspective, when I saw you, I remembered. I was just paying respects in my heart. That was only my intention. Forget it, that is nonsense. He said, in the realm of this, there is no relationships here. Whatever we want, we can do. There is no mother, father, brothers, relation, sister here. It's whatever feels good, let's do it. That's what in the Swargaloka, things happen. No, you may be, but I come from Bhuloka, which we have values. I will never give up the values. And then Indra is okay, she is okay, but still. The same Duryodhana, if somebody even laughed at him, he created havoc. How many people died in Mahabharata war, you know? 600 million people died in 18 days. And he was the reason for that. But the same, the person, what is the value, Arjun? We can think about it. But she cursed him. He became eunuch. That means impotent man. For the man that's really cursed. He was really, oh my God, I'm Kshatriya, how can? And then Indra came. He said, okay. She cursed him, but he didn't feel bad. He was only feeling bad for one person. I became impotent now. How can I serve my brother? We're in exile. We're supposed to fight the war, win the war for Dharma. How can I show my face to Krishna? That is not his mistake. He was cursed. So of course, power of Indra, he transferred the curse into a boon. He said, okay, you can be 1 year like that. When that is over, you can come back again. He never complained. Just imagine mighty warrior having the both female parts and male parts in the body and wearing the sari, long hair. It is very difficult. But he accepted that. Gracefully, without any complaint. So that's how we can learn these principles. Just down the stories. How did they do it? It is available for all of us, but it choices us. Because again, knowledge, the skills, the values is very important. The core values has to drive our character, integrity. Saying the thing, try to live that. No matter what happens. If you cannot do it, say, I don't know, I can't do it. But if you say, I'm giving you, I'm doing this, this is our integrity. We have to do it. Otherwise, that's reason, don't promise too much. Don't say if you don't do. Don't talk for the sake of talking. We have to mean it, whatever we say. These are the principles which attract Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vaishnavas, they own the ornaments of values. That attracts me. Not the knowledge. Knowledge is within us already. There is nothing new we can learn. The skills anybody can develop, they also can go down. When you get old, what are the skills we can do? But the values is not bound to the time, place and circumstances. So these are a few things which I wanted to share. And at the end, I wanted to have a few minutes left. So Mahabharata is almost done. And then as Kali Yuga about to start, Yudhishthira became a king, emperor. And then he set up entire thing. Dharma is going on very well. Krishna about to leave back. His time has come. That time he appointed Bhim as his one of the person who can take care of the dharma. If something happens, take care of. Make sure no adharma, no cheating happens, no killing happens unnaturally, all those things. So that's usually people come, they tell their problems to Bhim and Bhim solve them. That's a daily duty going on. So one particular day when Bhim was sitting there, one person came. I have a big problem. It never happened to me. What is the problem? I have a house. Around the house is a fence. My fence is moving to neighbor's house. What? Fence is moving? Yeah. I never had this before. This is happening. Tell me. Oh, this I can't solve. I don't know. I need my brother. Yudhishthira, please help me. He sent him to the chamber. After some time, the other person walked in. The other person walked in. He says, I have a problem. What is the problem? I've done this, like he's the business merchant. He have done many times. So he took a big pot. From the big pot, filled with the water. From there, he took the small 5 parts, poured the water. So 5 are equal, filled. When I put the 5 small containers back with the water, it only fills off. It is bewildering. It's the same water. How is it possible to become off? I can understand this one. I don't know what to do. So what's happening today? We go, please see my mother. Another person walks in, third. He says, what is your problem? I have a problem. I've done this many times. I took a needle, and through the needle, I took an elephant, I passed it. It always goes through, it always struck the tail. He said, what's happening today? You're passing the elephant and I have a needle, and then everything goes through, but the tail stuck? I can't understand, please. So he goes inside and talks to his brother. And the fourth one, for that day, he comes, he says, what is your problem? In the 4 roads, as a big boulder. Nobody cannot even move. And so many of us trying to push that. There's stuck in the trolley. It doesn't move. And suddenly, a small, thin sannyasi comes. He has a small stick. He touches that small stick, and the boulder moves. Naveen says, I don't know. It's really bewildering. I can't understand. Go inside. While sitting there, but he's just scratching his head. What's happening? I want to know what is happening. So he went inside. So that's why this just smiled. Oh, you want to know? Brother, Kali Yuga is starting. Time has come from Mahaprasthan. So, these are the symptoms. So, first one he explained, what is that? In Kali Yuga, the fence analogy, no one is happy with what they have. Whatever they have it is not sufficient. They want what others have it. That's the reason fence is moving to other. And as for the second, big pot, small pot analogy, we have 10 liters of water in a bucket. You put in a 2 liters jars. It should be 5 liters, right? 10. If you put it back, it's only off. That's what is going to happen in material world in Kali Yuga. No matter how much you give, you only get off 50%. The relationships, he's talking about relationships. No matter what you do, you can never make everybody happy. So you can never be happy. So only part of it you get it back. That is the other symptom. And the third, he said, okay, how is it possible? The elephant passing through the needle with the tail stuck. Yes, because in the age of Kali, people spend a lot of money for themselves. When it comes to giving to others, the tail stuck. It's very difficult. My son, my daughter, my mother, my father. People are thinking now that it's a different topic. Me, mine. When it's giving to others, very, very selective. That is the days are going to come. And the fourth one, he said, the boulder. How is it possible? 100 people cannot move the boulder. A thin sannyasi can move with a small stick. Yes, because in the days of Kali, people are accustomed and tied up with yajna, dana, or austerities, or so-called karma kanda, gnana kanda, upasana kanda, all those kandas, but there is no bhakti. But that is the ultimate. This clearly mentioned in Mahabharata. Nama Sankirtan. Sannyasi, Nama Sankirtan with a stick can move the big boulder with a single kick. Because it's very difficult without the same living in the material world is so difficult, but if we develop the love for God, and that love can be expressed in the Nama Sankirtan, chanting the names of the Lord, associating the devotees, a very simple way, we can achieve the highest principle. That's where Mahabharata ends and Kali Yuga starts. So anyway, so these are the principles I wanted to say, express. So I hope you got the point. From 5 things. What is the first thing? Live. Second?
Love.
Wonderful. Third?
Lead.
Wonderful.
Love.
Wow, you're also attentive. So what are these 5 principles or guiding under? Knowledge.
Skills.
Wow, wonderful. You know the stories. And through that what we can learn. In fact, you can give a class now. Very simple, right? Very simple. And then this is the take-home point. But now, we have 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I'll just end in a minute. So, all these things, as I said, Srimad Bhagavatam starts with first verse, Janma de Essa Itha. Everything comes from him, everything belongs to him. Like, he started from there. If you read entire Srimad Bhagavatam, it ended with the Nama Sankirtan. But how do we do that? People can chant, Prabhupada said you can chant Hare Krishna for the whole life. Nothing happens. The mood in which we chant, that will determine. As I said, the knowledge is there, the skills are there, but if it is not coupled with the values, the knowledge has no value. Rather, it has a negative impact. Those skills has a negative impact. In fact, by helping the humanity, we can create havoc, we can create a destruction. That's the guiding principle of the knowledge and the skills should be the values, the value-based life. The value is universal. It is there everywhere. Everybody can practice. Sometimes it is easy, sometimes it is difficult. Let's take an analogy. Ship. What is the purpose of the ship?
To cross.
She doesn't use it to cross the street, right? Where does the ship is? The ocean. What is the purpose? To cross the ocean and reach the destination. We are in the material world. It's the ocean. How do we cross? We need to have a ship. The ship could be companionship, or it could be so many friendship. So just imagine any ship. How do you check if the ship is good or bad? So everything is good, everything looks good, everything is fine, sailing nicely. Ship, it doesn't have any problem. But the integrity of the ship only checked during the calamity. Big tornado happens, or a cyclone in the ocean when the ship is going. Even among the devotees, and everything goes well, Hare Bol, very nice. If something goes wrong, that is the way the test. How he or she behaves. We forget everything in the past and remember why she said that, he said it. So is this person the pattern? He's already done that like that, she has done that. We have to think. That's where we have to use our integrity. Maybe they have a bad day. What does it mean? Let's talk about it. So even in the devotees, we have to develop that friendship, which is to test how we behave during the calamity. Otherwise, fail where the devotees, sunshine devotees, very nice, everything goes well. Something goes wrong, how we are behaving. Are we still keeping up the values? Are still upholding our principles? That will determine the maturity of the sadhana. So what we learn is a superficial. Or is creating any dint in the consciousness. Otherwise, hardships, friendships, relationships is coupled with a ship. Analogy, if you remember, we have a ship which is a body which is used as a vehicle to cross this material world to reach the destination. The values is very important. You understand? Okay, so now, I'll end here. It's only 5 minutes left, but I'll just conclude. So those who came here, there's 5 principles, essential principles we talked about. Live, learn, lead, leave and love is coupled with the 3, the guiding principles, which is knowledge, skills and the values. So we talked about how this being taught in live. What is the scripture we use reference? Mahabharata. How to live, Mahabharata teaches. How to lead, Ramayana teaches. How to learn, Bhagavad Gita teaches. How to live, Srimad Bhagavatam teaches. How to love, Charitra and Charitamrita teaches. All these things, one principle, Nama Sankirtan. Chanting, reading, hearing, association, serving and sharing. There's only one objective, is to please Krishna. If you do that, life is perfect. Doesn't matter where we are. Wherever we are, it's Vaikuntha. And whatever we see from the Sastra Chakshusha, through the scripture of knowledge. And the scripture has many things, but we see what inspires me, what inspires others. It's called Uddipan. What stimulates me to hold the path of bhakti, no matter what happens. The uddipan is very, very powerful. It comes with sankalpa, the desire. Right? So, that's the take home point today. If you can remember that. Thank you very much. I'll end here. Hare Krishna. Now I would like to hear from you. You've been patiently listening for past 55 minutes. Yes, please.
So to develop good values means we have to become free from anarthas. Why we are not able to be humble, why we are not able to be tolerant? Because we have selfish motives. So there has to be a process to clean those desires. That is where the chanting of the holy name and the devotional service. In one purport in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, he writes a sentence that one can try to develop these qualities, but it will not last until you have really cleaned your heart through the process of devotional service. So he says one can extraneously endeavor to develop these qualities. Extraneously means superficial. But when one becomes a devotee of the Lord and takes to devotional service, automatically all good qualities will manifest. If you are genuinely becoming a devotee.
So who can say more than this? Prince in the Prabhu. He's actually practicing that, we all can see that.
Now I was remembering that verse, Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Prabhu. As a take home point, whatever I said in 55 minutes, he said in 1 minute. Thank you. So, the sadhana, when you have a japa, it's between you and Krishna, there's nobody else. As he always says, when you sit down, head down, and the beats in the beat bag. And if you cannot sit, that's fine, you can stand. But whatever you chant we hear, that is so powerful. It's very painful in one sense, but that pain is so powerful and sublime, you will see. All, as I said, all the great qualities will manifest automatically. When you're happy, what do? You make others happy. So that means you want to share. So you want to share, people ask the questions, if you don't know, you'll go back and read and hear. The experience. So it's very secure. Chanting, reading, hearing, association, serving and sharing, it's organically develops. Thank you, Prabhu. So any other comments, questions? Yes, Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, you gave a great example of Hanuman, when it comes to humility. So that falls under the category of values that, you develop humility also. So how do we know the difference between, this is the time to display humility and this is the time to have faith in Krishna? Even though, you have humility, but when Hanuman was told that, okay, jump 800 miles, he had humility that, no, I can't do it. But why didn't he have faith in Krishna that even though I don't have the capability to jump, but Krishna will take care of my effort? So, humility and faith.
That's called thin line. It's very difficult. It comes from the maturity. It comes from, because there's somebody called Paramatma sitting in our heart. He sees us. He sees what we think. He also gives us the stimuli, what is needed. So in that case, ultimately, it is Krishna sitting in the heart of in the Hanuman. It's also Krishna sitting as a Paramatma sitting in Jambavan. So what happens? They speak. Since we don't have that access, but at least we practice, somehow or other, either through senior devotees or through gurus, somehow or other, the intelligence will be given. That will come from within. That is a gift of the God. See, some who are mature, when they take the decision, very nice. When immature state, sometimes we think other way. So we make mistakes, we learn it, but we move on. But as we move forward, when the pure devotees make the decision, they are directly in contact with Paramatma. When the Paramatma in direct contact, then actually the stimulation, motivation, inspiration come from direct direction. How do I know I am hungry? I just feel it. How do I know after eating I'm full? I cannot, by looking at face, I can, maybe his eyes are going down, he's weak, maybe he's hungry. Maybe somebody having a disease, I don't know. But that's why it says in the spiritual path, if we are honest, we are the best church. Remember that. In the spiritual path, if we are honest, we are the best church. And that is reciprocated. Ye tamam prapadante tam tateva bhajamiham. Krishna says, I reciprocate. The reason, since we don't have the connection, because sadhana is still not keeping up the values, principles, compromising, all those things, Krishna also compromised. says, you take one step, I'll take 100 steps. But the first stage I'm acting, thinking. So he's the greatest cheater. That Krishna says, among the cheaters, I'm the greatest cheater. If he act, he can also act. He can chant Hare Krishna, putting those nice tilak and chant Hare Krishna to show the world how great I am. Krishna says, wonderful. All the rest. Yes, ma'am.
Could you repeat the question? We couldn't hear what the question was.
He says that in the case of Jambavan and Hanuman, Hanuman is humble. He didn't want to do it, but Jambavan tell him to do it. In this case, how do we know when to be humble and when to go out of that, do something for Krishna? That was the question I was trying to explain. You want to add anything up? Please. Yes.
I heard something. Prabhupada says, practice intensely and preach vigorously. So you have to do your practice of sadhana bhakti intensely and preach vigorously. In one letter, Prabhupada said, so supposing whether should I go out and tell others about distributing books, or I should be very, very, what we can say, bold to go and give out this message to others. We should not feel like, oh, I cannot do it right now. Prabhupada wanted us to go out and give this message to others. So in one letter, Prabhupada said, you cannot repay your debt to the spiritual master. But if you want to repay your debt to me, you should preach vigorously like me. So there, for the service of Krishna, Arjuna wanted to be humble and not do anything. But Krishna told him, you should fight because this is what I want. So he fought with great vigor, and that was his surrender. The surrender doesn't mean always like drawing back or something like that, feeling like, weak and something. Sometimes boldness is also surrender. So you are asking when do we feel like when we should be humble and when we should be bold. One thing is that you get some from within also, and then you have to confirm to the Guru and the Sadhu, the Shastra.